Hello everybody! If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you! Short story 460, The Silent Clue, Part 1, Upper Beginner. Detective James Hunter stood outside the old hotel. Rain fell softly on the grey streets of London. It was late at night and most people were sleeping, but not James. He had a new case. A woman named Sarah Bell had disappeared. She was a journalist. She worked for a newspaper in the city. 2 days ago, she told her boss she had found something important, but then she didn't come to work the next day or the day after. Her last message was to her sister, "I know who did it. I'm going to the Crown Hotel now." So now James stood in front of the Crown Hotel. It was a tall old building with black windows. The lights were off and the front door was locked. He knocked. No answer. James showed his badge to the night manager. The man looked nervous. He opened the door slowly. "I'm Detective Hunter. I need to see room 304, James said. "Room 304? No one is there now," the manager said. "But that woman stayed there 2 nights ago. She left yesterday." "Are you sure?" James asked. "Yes, she checked out early in the morning." James felt something was wrong. "Can I see the room?" The manager gave him the key. Room 304 was cold and dark. The bed was made, but there was a smell like perfume. The window was open and rain had wet the carpet. James looked around carefully. He opened a drawer. Nothing. He checked the bathroom. Empty. Then, under the bed, he saw something. A pen. A red pen with the name of Sarah's newspaper on it. "She was here," he said to himself. Suddenly his phone rang. It was Sarah's sister. "Detective, I just got a message from Sarah's phone. It was only one word. Silent. What does it mean?" James thought hard. Silent. Was it a warning? A clue? He sat on the bed and looked around again. Then he noticed the painting on the wall. It showed a woman with her finger over her lips, a sign for silence. He took the painting down. Behind it, there was a hole in the wall. Inside was a small black notebook. James opened it. Inside were names, dates, and secret codes. At the end of the book was Sarah's writing. "The man in 305 is dangerous. He knows I found out the truth. If anything happens to me, this is the proof." James ran out and knocked on the door of room 305. No answer. He opened it with the master key. The room was empty, but someone had left in a hurry. Clothes were still on the floor. The window was open. On the table was a plane ticket. The name was Daniel Cross, one of the names in the notebook. He called for backup. Soon more police arrived. They checked the hotel from top to bottom. Hours later, they found Sarah. She was locked in a storage room in the basement. She was weak but alive. "Daniel Cross locked me in here. He thought no one would find me," she said. "But I sent that message when he left the door open." James smiled. "Your clue helped. Silent. You meant the painting." She nodded. Later, the police caught Daniel at the airport. He had worked with a group of criminals. Sarah had found out about their crimes. He wanted to stop her. But now, with the notebook and Sarah's help, they had all the evidence they needed. Detective James Hunter stood in the morning light. The rain had stopped. The city was quiet again. But he knew silence can hide many secrets. And sometimes a silent clue can save a life. Look out for part 2, next. Vocabulary notes. Disappear. Definition. To go somewhere and not be seen again. Example. A woman named Sarah Bell had disappeared. Similar words. Vanish. Go missing. Be lost. Example. My keys disappeared from the table. I can't find them anywhere. Nervous definition. Worried or afraid about something. Not calm. Example, the man looked nervous. Similar words. Anxious, worried, uneasy. Example, she felt nervous before her job interview. Detective definition. A police officer who investigates crimes. Example, I'm Detective Hunter. Similar words. Investigator, inspector, private eye. Example, the detective asked many questions to solve the case. Clue definition. A piece of information that helps to solve a mystery or crime. Example, your clue helped. Silent, you meant the painting. Similar words. Hint, lead, sign, evidence. Example, the muddy shoe was a clue in the theft case. Locked definition. Closed with a key or something that prevents opening. Example, she was locked in a storage room in the basement. Similar words. Secured, shut, fastened. Example, I locked the door before leaving the house. Dangerous definition. Likely to cause harm or damage. Example, the man in room 305 is dangerous. Similar words. Unsafe, harmful, risky. Example, climbing without a rope is dangerous. Proof definition. Information or evidence that shows something is true. Example, if anything happens to me, this is the proof. Similar words. Evidence, confirmation, support. Example, we need proof before we can arrest him. Storage room definition. A small room where things are kept or stored. Example, she was locked in a storage room in the basement. Similar words. Storeroom, supply room, utility room. Example, the old boxes are in the storage room at the back of the building. Message definition. Words sent or said to someone else. Example, I just got a message from Sarah's phone. Similar words. Note, text, communication. Example, he left a message on her phone. Backup definition. Help or extra support, often from the police or others in authority. Example, he called for backup. Similar words. Support, help, assistance. Example, the police waited for backup before entering the building. Story written by ChatGPT AI. Image created by Designer AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.